Rosie, you know when you get those times where you've got to make a cake, you just don't have the time, so you've got to go to the shop. This is a great way of using those shop-bought ingredients and making something that's actually quite nice.
Yep.
It's great if you've got the day before to put in the freezer and let it set, this ice cream cake sandwich. But, you know, it's a great one, an easy one to make. It starts with some strawberries because what we'll do is we'll stew these strawberries and get a nice little...
Ooh, lovely.
compote, which is a nice French and fancy way of saying it. Just need to take the lid off like that, pour them onto the board. I like tipping it onto the board like this because then you can sort of go through them nice and easily, and it's a good way to check the berries as well. So I just take the green part out like this and slice them in half, and that's all you need to do.
Didn't you have somebody who said that you could only do it a certain way as well?
Well, when I was a young lad, or young whippersnapper in kitchens, we would have to hull the strawberries. So with a little paring knife, we just grab the knife and turn it around and just remove the green part, and you leave that little hole in the centre of it like that.
And I must admit, it does look nice, but it's a bit time-consuming, isn't it?
It takes forever, and it's a great thing to do to a young apprentice who's been very...
They were testing you, for sure.
Exactly, very cheeky. That's what you would get them to do. Now, we've got 2 punnets of strawberries, so if you buy the small punnets, maybe 4 punnets of strawberries would be enough. So I'll put my pan on here, and then the strawberries go straight into the pan. And to that, I'll add about half a cup of caster sugar. In they go, Rosie.
Lovely.
You liking that?
Smells like Wimbledon, doesn't it? Ooh.
It does. It's better than the garlic smell we usually have on our hands. On goes the lid. If you want, you can stir it a little bit with a wooden spoon. But, you know, a couple of minutes on that low heat and the strawberries will start to soften up. But I've got a sponge here, Rosie, and I want to show you a little trick. This has got some baking paper on the bottom, and you look at it and think, oh, you know, we'll just stack it up like that. But you can actually cut it in half. And what I do to cut in half is I just hold the knife on one level and just move it a little bit and then slide the cake around. And as I slice the cake around, I just push it a little bit towards the centre. And that way, you get even slices on both sides.
The worst thing is when you see a little bit of a knife pop through, isn't it? You want to make sure you get it all the way through.
There's a good trick to it. So we'll just pop that there and just check the strawberries. They're looking good.
Yeah.
Now, we've got to check the ice cream. I've got some store-bought Jalista, which is delicious. I love it. And the trick with it is to take the top off, and you've got to check it, Rosie.
Oh, OK.
It's really important while we're waiting for the strawberries to heat up and cool down.
Head gelati checker.
Well, you know, this was one of my first jobs in a kitchen, was making ice cream. I love ice cream. I still make ice cream today, nice and fresh. But I like to check it every single time to make sure it's delicious.
That's a dangerous habit to have. Now, that's dairy-free. That is delicious. That tastes just like normal ice cream, but that's dairy-free gelati.
Rosie, we have to try this one.
This is great being head gelati taster.
It's hard work, isn't it? I'll tell you what, we'll finish tasting these ice creams, make sure it's all at the right temperature and the right flavour, and then we'll sort these strawberries out.
I like it.
Now, the berries have cooled down a little bit. One of the reasons I cook the strawberries in the sugar is because the sugar doesn't freeze. So that'll help to keep the berries nice and soft, but not icy. Really important.
Nice.
Now, the sponge is ready to go, and I've got my cake tin already lined. Now, the trick is to pop the cake down the bottom there and make sure it's pushed down nice and evenly. Now, this part, Rosie, I grab some of the syrup in the spoon there and just drizzle that around like that.
Soak it up.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Soak it up.
Oh, I love that. And make sure that it soaks into that sauce there. Now, if you want to use some brandy or that sort of thing, you can do that, but we'll keep this kid-friendly. Now, this is the fun part, Rosie. We take some ice cream.
Yeah.
I'll just take one of them and I'll get a big spoon and just let the ice cream soften on the bench for about 10 minutes or so, or depending on what part of the world you're in, it might be 10 seconds. Yeah. And you just sort of chop it up a little bit and that'll make it smooth out nice and evenly. Now, once I've got it mostly to the edge there, all the way around, I'll grab some of the berries and pop them on top there like that. Just a little bit splattered around. and then we can grab some of the spoon
You're trying
there.
to kill me again, aren't you?
Very slowly, but what
I'm going back into therapy, aren't I?
You will need a lot of therapy after this, but what a way to go, Rosie. You'd have to admit this is a fantastic little way of using ice cream, making something really quick.
Oh, I love gelati.
Spoon it on.
I really do. On we go.
I was thinking, why should I have all the fun? I should be able to share it around. And it's okay if it's a little bit melted like that because it's all going to be refrozen again.
Sometimes with you, Rich, I feel like if you can't beat them, join them.
Well, as some people do, they just give up. So just get in with it, get involved. OK, grab the last one there, Rosie.
Yes.
We'll spoon that on. That's the peanut butter swirl.
Here we go again.
You know that's going to hurt you, don't you?
Groundhog Day with
my
gelati.
goodness.
Oh, wow.
Isn't it great?
It's
I love
great.
it. And you've got the that beautiful gelati, and then you've got all the strawberries and the syrup that'll go and soak it all up. I'll put the last lot onto it like that. And then with the spoon, I just stir it a little bit so it goes in. You're almost in tears now, aren't you, Rosie?
A little bit, yeah.
You're feeling
Yeah.
it? Oh, lovely.
I'm going to need to call someone after this.
Yes. Now, I'll just peel this baking paper off and then just grab this little baby here. And then it's a matter of just popping it inside the baking paper and just pushing it down so that it sits nice and firm. I like to put a little bit of pressure on it, not too much because you'll be just squeezing it out everywhere. A little bit of pressure to make sure you get most of the air bubbles out of it. And voila, we're ready to go.
I can't lie, I'm actually quite excited to see that. I know there's going to be a bit of marbling, so that's what a celebration cake's supposed to do, is get you excited, and it's certainly done that.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to get excited about this. You tidy up this mess. I'll pop this in the freezer and then we'll let it freeze and harden, then we'll tuck into it. All right, Rosie, that's why we like spring-form tins. And also, another reason we like baking paper. Look at that.
The big reveal.
Oh, my goodness. But it doesn't look as good there. It looks impressive, I know.
Oh, that is impressive.
It's pretty good. Take the bottom off there. And I've got some raspberries here. I'll just get some of the raspberries into this bowl here. You've got some icing sugar. Put some icing sugar into the bowl.
Yeah.
And just stir it around with a spoon till it comes together. The icing sugar makes it nice and soft. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to reach across the top of you and grab the knife. And a little pro tip is to pop the knife into a jug or run it under hot water, and it will cut through the ice cream a lot easier. Now, another thing I like to do is cut all the way through. A nice, strong knife will be able to handle the ice cream all the way down there.
You're a strong person to cut it, don't you?
You do. I mean, it's frozen, so you need to be careful and just cut through nice and evenly like that. That's come apart beautifully. And I'll just show you what it looks like. It looks great, doesn't it?
That looks phenomenal.
All those layers there. We've got the sponge, we've got the berry, we've got the gelato.
All the different flavours of gelati in there.
Exactly. And I'll just pop the knife straight back in there again, just for a second. And then I'll cut a wedge, like a regular cake, straight through the middle there like that. And down we go. And then it's just a matter of picking that up and see how easy it is to hold like that.
Yeah.
Pretty big looking cake. Onto the plate it goes. And you're thinking it's just a regular ice cream cake, but not as we know it. We're going to fix it up, Rosie, and make it even more delicious and luscious. On goes some double cream. The look of horror on your face, Rosie, says it all.
Someone's reached 100 years old, haven't
There we
they?
go. Just slowing right down.
Because you can only do this once in your life, I think, this sort of thing.
We have sometimes food and we have one times food. And I think in your life, this needs to be one times.
Yeah.
Pass me the mint, Rosie.
Got it.
And we'll put a couple of nice little leaves of mint
That looks
on there.
gorgeous like that.
It does, doesn't it? Nice fancy sort of dish, and you can grab some of the mint leaves and pop them on like that and then spread it all around. And then, Rosie, you know I love it. Grab the icing sugar. I'm going to do my last little favourite bit. Just tap it over the top like that, nice and slowly.
Trying to push me over the edge, aren't you?
Yes, I'm pushing you way over the edge. What do you think of that?
I think it's gorgeous.
All right, I'll just take this little piece off here. Oh, look at that. That looks great. A little bit of the cream as well and the berries.
Well, you're lucky I don't have a brain freeze because that's still pretty cold. It's absolutely delicious, but Richard, this has to be a sometimes dish.
One times for sure.
Yeah.